got tight. Hey guys, my name is Evan and welcome to Country View Acres. So today we are working on our pig pasture or our pig area. We're going to expand it, but the first thing we got to do is we actually got to clear where the old fence was and get it all mowed down. So Rebecca went through and she did take the fence off some places, set it to the side and mow around it. But I've decided I'm just going to cut the fence. We're going to pull out this section. You can see how overgrown this is down here. We're just going to pull the fence out for now so that we can clear everything, and then we'll pull it all back in. And then we get to expand it, make it twice as big. So it's going to be a pretty busy day today. So we're going to try to keep moving and try to get this going and see if we can get it done in a day. That may be a task. See if I can pull all three of these out at the same time. It has been growing and overgrowing around this fence for the last 9 months probably. Pretty overgrown. Oh, I'm caught on or something. Man, some of this wire does not want to come out at all. So I think what I'll do, after rethinking it, I have a roll of poly wire that's hadn't been used yet. So we may rerun all this fence in poly, and then that way we can take it down at the end of the season and be able to mow in between all these posts. Probably be the best thing to do. Oh man, that bottom wire is so grown into the grass. I'll definitely put the wire a little higher up next time. Oh, it's been in that post. So Rebecca's got it mowed around the posts that we're going to use here, but there's still several posts that we need to pull out that we're not going to use. So we've got a couple here. We've got a ground rod that's got to pull out, and then where the fence used to go down over here, we got to pull all those posts out. Then we can start putting in new ones. And instead of putting the same type of post we put in here, I'm thinking maybe we'll just use the step-in posts. I've got a bunch of extra step-in posts that we use for rotational grazing, and we'll just step those around, make it easy to remove and roll the wire up when the pigs are gone so that we can actually mow this and maintain it, because the pigs are only here 6 months out of the year. All right, I think we're ready to start putting in some posts. So we're going to use T-posts as our corner posts. We're going to be using these lock jaws. We're going to be using them to be able to be the outside of the corner. So I think we'll go ahead, we'll set this T-post right here to be a corner to turn that direction. Everybody always says in videos I should use the tractor to push a T-post in. So we'll give it a shot. We'll see if we can push this T-post into the ground, but I got a feeling that will just bend the T-post. We'll see what happens. You gonna hold this for me? I'm gonna try to get this
in that corner bracket.
In the bottom of this piece right here, kind of in this corner.
That's where this post hit.
That's where I'm gonna put the top of that post right here. The only way it could ever get out would be that direction.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it'll stay in this little pocket right here as we push it down. not the straightest post in the world, but I didn't bend it. I did, when I finally hit the bottom of that depth, it actually lifted the wheel of the tractor off the ground a little bit. But it worked. We got a few more of these to put in. Pushed in pretty far. All right.
Yeah.
Well, our vines have grown through our stock panels here. They're not going to be easy to get apart at all. How long ago did we put these here? We put these here when we built that pen, so it's only been a couple months. Yeah, and they've grown through. But we bought these so that we can continue on. So behind this compost pile here, and then around behind the equipment, we're going to put these stock panels around there, and then it'll be the electric wire the rest of the way. So we just need to get these out and put them in, and you can't get the tractor back here, so we're going to have to just pound all these posts. All right, let me show you what we got so far. So we've got a post here on the corner, and that is where we're going to start the poly wire. We've got these little pin-on connectors. We'll wrap the poly wire through there, and it's going to go down that direction. So on this side of the training pin here, we put in some stock panels, and it's going to weave through some of this brush area. So it goes behind the compost bins here, and then it's going to turn. It goes behind this equipment. There's equipment in here. It's covered in vines, stuff that I really don't use very often, but it comes around here and then it ends. So where it ends here, I've got another post, and it's got these little pin-on connectors. We'll wrap the poly wire through here, and then it's going to run around right to there and then back around through the woods. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to put these insulators the right height. We're going to have to go to all the corner posts and adjust them, because you can see where it was last year. We're going to go bottom at 12 inches, then 20 inches, and then we'll put an extra one at 28. We probably won't use that one, but we're going to use 12 and 20. Try to do 2 wire this year, and so just got to get these adjusted. So these are those lockjaw insulators we're using on the outside corners. We'll just slide these where they go. The way these are on, they can slide up and down the way we have them on here. Hopefully they'll stay in place. These insulators will probably, every one of these will probably have to move. At least the step-in posts, I shouldn't have to do anything with those because I got so many different ones to pick from.
Well, I feel bad because I'm burning up. It's like 90 some degrees out here. And where I've been making their watering hole, it obviously is not clay because the water soaks right in. So I have to keep constantly spraying them down because I feel bad for them. And they love it.
Rebecca keeps on trying to fill this area up with water, and it just doesn't hold water very well. She really likes to have them a nice place that stays wet so they can cool down.
Whew. You guys are hosing me down.
So the only posts we have left now are going to be the step-in posts. But before we put those in, I'm going to go ahead and tie off one run of poly wire, and we're going to run that all the way around the perimeter, and at least that'll give us like a straight line to follow to step in our posts. That way they're not all crooked and everything. All right, I think I'm just going to try to tie like a figure eight. So I've got my figure eight in the wire or in the twine, and then you just follow it back through. You come out the other side, pull it tight, and there we go. It's on there, ain't going nowhere. Time to unroll it.
Don't trip over those posts.
All right, let's see if we can get inside this lockjaw insulator. Okay. So this is a, what is this? This is like a PowerFlex wire. It's got, I think it's 9 different strands of metal in here, so it shocks really good. All right, we've picked up all the slack in the wire. Rebecca walked around and pulled the slack and we tightened it. We wrapped it around through the hole twice, then tied off half hitches. Like I've got like 5 half hitches in a row here. And then we've got a little bit of a tail. And we'll end up tying this to the upper one once we run it. So the spacing on these posts isn't going to be perfect. So we'll use the third one, which is around 11 inches. And we'll use the 5th one, that's an 18. So not going to quite match what we had originally, but should be good enough. Hopefully there's enough poly wire where we can make it all the way around again. This is a long run. All right, we got our top one tied off, and then we tied it down to this bottom one. We got our bottom one tied to the top one, and that just holds the slack, ties them together electrically. Should be good. Well, we went ahead and we tried running the third wire, and we almost got to the last corner, and we ran out. So we're gonna steal some off of this reel here, just so we can finish it out. So this third wire is not for the pigs. It's actually for our dog, Scout. Scout loves the pigs, and he would try to get inside if it wasn't for a fence. So this is why we're putting the third wire up. It's just to keep Scout from getting in there and trying to play with the pigs. He is very obsessed with pigs. Like, he just goes crazy over them. Put ourselves an overhand knot on this side, overhand knot on that side, and then pull the two together. Should be good. We're probably only going to steal about 100 feet from this roll. All right, there's the charger. We're going to drive a ground rod right out here, and it should be close enough to hook up our fence. Well, I don't have anything specialized for poly wire, so we're just going to use a split nut on here, if I can get it to slide in there, and we'll just attach the charger to this middle wire. It should electrify everything since it's all tied together. Give it a snug. Okay. I found my fence tester, so we'll test it. This one's very hard to read. I'm not real happy with this tester. 6,000 volts on that top wire. 6,000 on the middle. 6,000 on the bottom. So I did end up moving the charger down about a foot off the ground here just so the wire could reach the ground rod where I could drive it down a lot farther. And then we got our positive wire going over and hooking up. And pretty happy. That is a lot of wire running around. They've got a nice big area out here for the pigs once we open it up. I will say I'm very happy with the way this turned out. The poly wire, so much easier to work with than the metal wire. That metal wire was a struggle, and all those little rebar posts and all those little adjustable ends took so much time to be able to put up the fence. And we put that one up 2 years ago. It had been up for 2 years. And this poly wire, man, it just strung out. You just slide it in these step-in posts way quicker. So I guess if I was going to do this again from scratch, I would probably buy the poly wire, buy the step-in posts. I'd still use the T-posts in the corners or anywhere there's a nice jog. But this was way quicker than using the metal wire. When you go to try to take the metal wire out, it's kind of hard to try to save it. You know, it's hard to wind it back up or roll it back up and not kink it where you can actually reuse it and it looks straight. This poly wire was just, this stuff was just so much easier to work with. And very happy, I think, using this. Rebecca, she said it multiple times how much easier it was to work with the poly wire. So the plan would be, you know, our pig pasture area, the expansion is done. At the end of the season, we'll pull out these step-in posts and we can roll the poly wire up, no problem whatsoever. We can just roll it up and save it for next year. And as long as we keep our corner posts in the same spot, it should lay back out the same and we can use the same wire. It shouldn't be short. So that's the plan. It'll just be up for till the pigs go to the butcher December 28th. So somewhere at the beginning of January, we'll probably tear this out. But the only thing left we have to do now before we open the pigs up to this area, which they're back there in the shade, laying in the shade, but the only thing we have left to do is to train them on electric fence. And we're not gonna do that today. We're pretty worn out, but we're gonna set up, we'll probably steal some more poly wire off of one of them rolls. And we're gonna set up probably like the back half on the inside of their pen here, maybe 6 inches off of this pig fence. We'll set that up in there and electrify it and get it to where they test it out and they know not to touch it. And then once they've had that electric fence in there with them for probably a couple weeks, we'll probably go ahead, we'll remove some of these pig panels on the backside and we'll just open it up so they can have that whole area. But I think that is going to be it for today's video. It is very hot out here. Not much of a breeze today. So we're glad that this is over with. This is one of the last big things we had to do for the summer as far as like projects. So I think our summertime projects are coming to an end. Next weekend we'll be butchering chickens. We're going to butcher our first batch of chickens next weekend, and then I'm also going to be overseeding the hayfield. The hayfield that I'm not happy with the clover. I'm going to overseed that, try to get a lot more grass to grow in there. And that's the two big projects coming up next weekend. But hopefully most of these big projects like this are all coming to an end and we'll be able to start working on the workshop again. And then hopefully after we get the workshop closed in, we'll start working on the Alice Chalmers tractor again. But I'm happy that this is done. This is just one of those things that's been needed to be done for the last 2 months. We finally got to it. And we're going to probably call it a day, go in and relax a little bit. And then we're actually going to we're going to try to do a live stream tonight. This is Saturday, August 27th. We're going to try, if the internet permits, we're going to try to do that. See how it works out. We've only done it one other time. So, of course, by the time this video posts, that'll already have happened. So, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.